Joe Carpenter from Southwest DC, he wants to know, are some people voluntarily returning their stimulus checks? Spokesperson for the IRS says the answer, Joe, is yes. People have returned payments for a variety of reasons, often on behalf of a deceased family member or somebody who's been locked up. We'll have information on how to return your check. If you need that, all you got to do is go to our website, WUSA9.com. Now, if you're not worried about returning money, but rather when you might get it, the IRS has just started sending letters to people who appear eligible for a stimulus check but have not filed a return, or they just didn't bother to register online to receive a payment. About 40,000 people in D.C. can expect to receive those letters. That number is more than 192,000 in the state of Maryland, and in Virginia, we're talking 205,000 people.